What's going on, guys, and welcome back to season 9 of our franchise series with the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, obviously, the last couple seasons here, we have one Stanley Cup. We love to add another one. As you can see, currently 4-0 to start the season. I did have to simulate a little bit into the season because I did want to get a contract extension figured out, and we also have a trade to announce here at the start of the season. We've made a trade with the Carolina Hurricanes, sending them Gabe Vilardi and Easton Venkateshan in exchange for Adrian Whitfield and a 2032 fourth round pick. I'll show you in a minute why I was interested in making that trade. And then we also signed Rasmus Sandin to a 1-year extension worth $5.25 million. So with that being said, if you enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe. The support helps me out a ton. I appreciate every one of you for tuning in and being here. So let's go over our lines here. This team looks pretty solid. Obviously off to a really good start to the season. First line, still one of the most dangerous lines in the league with Carlson, Matthews, and Wright. Have Kaliev here playing with Fedorov and Yurov. Really nice second line. Really great depth on this team this season. Kristanovic and Whitfield and Lacert getting a +2 on the third line. Cates, Anderson, Nolan, and Poirier on the fourth line here. So Whitfield was the guy that we traded Vilardi for. Now, Vilardi was 32 years old, and he was down to an 81 overall. Whitfield here, 25 years old, 85 overall. Low elite potential. Pretty well-rounded player and really great skater and pretty much a perfect shot there. So he's going to be adding a lot of great depth scoring for us. He also has 3 years left on a really cheap contract for this kind of player. So that's also what interested me about him. We get pretty much a player that's earning about the same as what we were paying Vilardi, but much younger and also much better at this point in time. And that also allowed us to move Poirier down here to the fourth line. So he'll provide a lot of awesome depth scoring. Let's take a look at our defense here. Dobson, Clark on that first pairing, just nasty. Hannafin and Makari get a +3. Siegenthaler and Sandin rounding it out on that third pairing. I think we have one of the best defensive cores in the league, not gonna lie. Just really great depth, up and down, really fantastic defensemen all over the ice. As for goalies here, Gustafsson and DiPietro backing him up. They've been a great tandem for us all franchise series long. Take a look at our power play. Our special teams look very dangerous this season again. First unit there gets a +5. Second power play gets a +3. 4-man power play. First unit gets a +5. And then the second unit gets a +2. Playing Whitfield and Menkari there, getting them a lot of experience on those second units. As for penalty kill, also looks really solid. First unit here gets a +5. Second penalty kill unit also gets a +5. And the third penalty kill unit gets a +2. So fantastic penalty kill units here on this team. 3-man PK, first unit gets a +1. The second unit will get a +2. And the third unit will be an even correlation. So overall, I think this team looks, very solid. Lots of depth up and down the lineup. I think we'll be primed to make a good run at the playoffs this season again. We do have some contracts to figure out to bring back players for the last season. However, this is why I'm in a bit of a pickle here. Brandt Clark asking for $14.6 million. Even on a 1-year deal, he only comes down to $14.4. Noah Dobson here as well, $11.9. If we go down to a 1-year, barely comes down. So I don't think we're going to be able to keep both of them. So sort of throughout the season, we're just going to monitor what their asking price is. If I can get both of them on 1-year deals and pay both of them like $10 million, I absolutely will. I want to keep them. They're for sure, one of the best pairings in the league, and they've been absolute dynamite for us. But that being said, there's a lot of great defensemen hitting the free agent market this season. So we'll just take a look at them, those are free agents. I'm meant to go to pending free agents here and take a look at the defensemen. Obviously, Clark is going to top that, but we also have Nemec here, Theodore, Korchinski, Anderson, York there. So we do have some good options, some younger options. I am interested in Korchinski and Nemec. depending on how much they're asking, but obviously would prefer to keep Clark and Dobson, even if it's just on a 1-year deal. So, with that being said, we're going to hope this hot start to the season is a sign of good things to come, simulate out to January 1st of 2032, and see how we're doing then. All right, so to start the new year here, we currently have a record of 21, 8, and 4, playing very well here. The Atlantic Division pretty tight in that top 3 there, 1 point behind the Lightning. But second place in the Eastern Conference there, Blue Jackets at 45 points. Kraken there killing it, 50 points, and Avalanche with 48. So definitely in that top 5 of the league, playing pretty well. Austin Matthews there, leading scorer, 32 points in 33 games. So this team is, on a bit of a roll here, playing pretty consistently. I like how our guys are playing. So as usual, we'll sim out to the trade deadline and, sort of see how we're doing then, see what kind of moves we may want to make. All right, so here we are at the trade deadline with a record of 33, 17, and 10, good for 76 points. Third in the Atlantic. Eastern Conference is pretty tight this season, so we're really going to have to kick it up a notch after the trade deadline in the last leg of the season if we want to make the playoffs. Shane Wright here, leading scorer, 63 points in 60 games. I mean, we're playing well. Been on a bit of a rough stretch there too, 4-4 in our last 10, so hopefully we can find some more consistency. But yeah, Eastern Conference is definitely really tight this season, so hopefully we can find more consistency in the last leg of the season here. We'll head into the trade deadline as conservative buyers. I think we can get it done with the group we have, but yeah, we'll see how things go. All right, guys, so here we are in the trade deadline. We have a couple trades to announce. The first trade is a big one. We send over Noah Dobson, forward prospect Yuri Bobkov, and defensive prospect Matthias Hagelin to Nashville in exchange for Sam Dickinson. This is a big trade for us. I really like this trade, and I will go over why I do after, but I also want to announce our second trade we made with the Chicago Blackhawks, sending over defensive prospect Riley Recchi and forward prospect Sylvain Charpentier and a 2034 second round pick in exchange for Chicago's 2032 first round pick. So the reason I'm so, the reason I was so interested in Dickinson is that he's only 1 overall lower than Dobson and younger. He's also making considerably less. And he's putting up decent numbers, more defensive oriented, even though he's listed as a 2-way defender, very physical guy, pretty good skater, and very good defensive stats. But he's also on a 2-year contract for $6.1 million, so we can keep him the rest of the time. Obviously, only 1 season after this left with the Maple Leafs. So, that eliminates the very high asking price from Dobson, and also means we'll be more than likely able to re-sign Brandt Clarke for our final year with the Maple Leafs, and he'll also fit in perfectly on line 1. He actually fits in really well no matter what line we place him on. Oh, we get a trade offer here. Really don't want to do that. I like Kaliev. But anyway, yeah, traded for Dickinson. Really like that move. All right, so here we are at the end of the trade deadline. Obviously, we know the trades we made, but we will just go through, see what else happened in the league. So there, Tristan Lennox goes to Anaheim here. Jordan Harris there, back to Montreal. Morgan Frost to Colorado. Connor McMichael there goes to the Rangers. There was our trade with Chicago. Etienne Morin goes to Chicago. Mikanov goes to Calgary. McBain to Montreal. Anderson there to the Coyotes. LA there. Actually gets Chikrin from Arizona. Funny thing happening, 8 years later in the future. There was our trade for Sam Dickinson, Grieg, Yermo, and Drury there going to the Capitals, Jackson Boychuk to the Canucks, Salamonson there to the Sharks, Gaucher and Ferraro to the Kings, Correa and Cousins to the Hurricanes, Nate Danielson there going to Boston. Big trade there, Edmonton sending Broberg and Lynn to the St. Louis Blues, Tristan Jarry there going to the Devils, Reed Schaefer to the Rangers, Marty Harrington and Colton Pagadwan to Chicago, Oliver Wahlstrom there to Tampa, and goalie Rantanen there to the Rangers. All right, here, so after the trade deadline, have an updated look at our lines here. Not much to change on the forward side, just swapping Lisser and Krestanovich there. Calling up Kurashev as Anderson Dolan just dropped in rating a little bit, so I'll have him playing left wing. Kate's in center there, Poirier there still on the right wing. But otherwise, nothing to change on the forward front here. Defense will slot Dickinson into that top pairing with Clark at a +2. Move Sandin up to the second pairing with Mankari there. Hannafin and Siegenthaler down on the bottom pairing, getting a +3. So again, lots of defensive depth. Otherwise, no changes, and we will head out to the end of the regular season, hoping we can go on a bit of a heater here and secure another playoff spot. Alrighty, guys, the regular season is over. We finished with a record of 45, 26, and 11. Good for another 100-plus point season. Second in the Atlantic there, and third in the Eastern Conference. So not a bad season at all. Austin Matthews there was our leading scorer, 56 goals, 91 points in 82 games. So he really popped off. Definitely a big reason we won some very important games here. As for the rest of the league, 104. So the Avalanche there, though, take home the President's Trophy with 113 points. Let's check out, all of our players, see sort of what was happening here on our forwards here. Matthews leading the way there. Yeah, so that first line has just been so good. Look at the plus minuses on the first line. Shane Wright with 81 points and Carlson with 71. And you have Fedorov going off. Really nice season for him, especially being, on that third and second line kind of alternating. Kaliyev there puts up 24 goals. Very nice to see. Overall, pretty good. I mean, our depth came up. Krasnovich there, +9, 35 points. Whitfield, 35 points for us and a +4. So, pretty nice depth all around here. Kurashev there, -1, so not terrible. As for our defenseman there, Clark leading the way. So, yeah, he's probably going to still want that bag and a half here after the season. +35, though, really good. Mankari, nice season for him. First year playing it in the NHL, 32 points and a +3. Dickinson here put up 24 points. Again, more defensive oriented, but he put up 4 points with us, but was a +14. So we really like to see that. So good for him there. And depth as well, really good. Siegenthaler on the bottom pairing with a +18. As for goalies here, again, really, solid seasons from both of our goalies. Can't complain with how they've been playing for us. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with how this team played. Definitely winning some very important games toward the end there. Check out the rest of the league. Wow, this guy on Seattle putting up 116 points there. Decent amount with 100-plus points. McKinnon, Rantanen popping off together. Barkov going off again. This guy, another Seattle guy. Wow, so they really went off this season. Marner there, 99. Take a look at the defensemen. So Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes here. Pretty tight for the Norris. I'd say Makar probably gets it. Better plus-minus, more points, but you never know with this game. As for goalies here, Akira Schmid actually leading the way, 43 wins. As for best save percentage, though, for a starter, looks like that's going to be Adekaliyo there on Arizona, .917. And best goals against for a starter, also Adekaliyo. So he could be walking away with the Vezina. Again, not really any insane goaltending this season, so pretty interesting to see. But yeah, another year, another playoffs, and hopefully this team can get it done. All right, so here we have the Buffalo Sabres in the first round of the playoffs. Pretty similar regular season records here. Let's go and see who they have here in 2032. So first line there, top 6 really, just super, super stacked. Very impressive top 6 and pretty good depth, honestly, overall. Zadina there on the third line, very nice. Ross Colton, their fourth line center. So good depth on this team. Obviously, that first defensive pairing, probably the best in the league. Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin, absolutely nasty. But bottom 4 leaves a lot to be desired. You never know, though. With the goalies, they have an 81 Vladar and 85 overall Halfer. So they have a good goaltending tandem. We're not going to be taking them lightly at all. Obviously, I'm always nervous headed into the playoffs with this team. You never know what you're going to get. So for the rest of the Eastern Conference, we'll have Tampa, Boston, Columbus, New York Rangers, and Ottawa and Pittsburgh. As for the Western Conference, we'll have Seattle and Minnesota, the Oilers and the Ducks, and then St. Louis, Arizona, and then Dallas and Colorado. So we'll take this 2 games at a time here. I mean, nervous for sure. And let's see what we can do. First 2 games. And we split it, 2-1 win and 4-1 loss. Next 2 games at Buffalo, we split those as well. 5-3 win, 5-2 loss. Game 5, back at home, we win that, 5-1 win. All right, up 3-2 in the series. Going out to Buffalo, let's take this game period by period here. Up after 1, Whitfield for us. 2-0 after 2, Noah Cates. And we take it. 3-1, Rasmus Sandin. So our depth really showing here. And we take round 1 against the Sabres in 6 games. Very nice big game from Gustafsson in that game as well. All right, so we have the Boston Bruins in the second round of the playoffs. I don't remember like some of these teams. I don't think we've ever played them in the playoffs. Some teams I distinctly remember, like the Sabres, Bruins, not so much. Yeah, take a look at this team. I mean, pretty good, pretty solid top 6. Sam Reinhart there, Par Leonard, and Beauvillier. So like some interesting line combinations here. Second line's really good though with Michelli, Lundstrom, and Garrison. Bottom 6 is pretty solid as well. Robertson, Svechkov, Perot, and then Marchenko, Foudy, and Guishin on that 4th line. As for the defense, top pairing also really amazing. Tommy Rizzi and Charlie McAvoy there, nasty. And they have some nice depth. Robertson and Liljegren on the second pairing. Made-up guy, Brizgalov, and Salo on the 3rd pairing. So good defensive depth. Definitely solid. An 88 overall Wallstedt net with an 86 overall Dustin Wolf backing him up. So this team is very, very good. I'm surprised they didn't do much better in the regular season there. Their record 43, 32, and 7. But, you know, as always, they made it into the second round for a reason. So did we. And we'll take these first 2 games here at home. And 2 wins, 2-1 and a 4-2 win for us. Headed back out to Boston for games 3 and 4. And we split 3-2 overtime win and a 3-2 loss. Alrighty. Well, game 5 back at home. Let's go period by period here. Tied after 1, 0-0. Second period, down 2-0. Hate to see it. Third period here. Let's sim into it. I like to see what happens. Down 2-0. 2-goal lead, worst lead in hockey. Hopefully we can break through. There we go. Shane Wright cuts the lead. 2-1. Power play. We score. Fedorov on the power play. We tie it up. Okay. 7 minutes left. Let's see what happens. Under 5 minutes here. Time winding down. Still tied. And we're headed to overtime. All right. Game 5 overtime here. And let's get into it. Early power play for us. And there we go. Carlson coming up huge. And we take the second round over the Boston Bruins in 5 games. So we are headed to the Eastern Conference Final. Again, another huge game from Gustafsson as well. Gotta hand it to him. He's certainly been showing up in the playoffs for us. So yeah, really nice couple series here. Off to the Eastern Conference Finals we go, just waiting for our opponent. All right, so we have the Ottawa Senators in the conference finals here. Avs and Oilers in the Western Conference Finals. So seems like a lot of really stacked teams here. You know, teams that you would expect to make the conference finals are making it, which is kind of nice to see. Ottawa here, really stacked top 6 here. Chuck Leonard and DeBrincat on that first line. Norris, McGroarty, and Boucher. Marchment, McLeod, and Tuck on the third line. And then Chartrand, Krebs, and Nichushkin there now down to a 78 on that fourth line, though. Really nice depth. As for defense, they got a, very impressive top 4. Sanderson, Chabon on the first pairing, McCollum and Haig on that second pairing. And then 279s, Regula and Lamoureux there on the third pairing. In net, they'll have an 83 McAniemi with an 80 overall Montembeault backing him up. So this is a very solid team. Forward core definitely carries them, and a very good top 4 on defense. So I think we're pretty evenly matched. And yeah, you know, kind of similar records there. They only had one more regular win than us. But yeah, let's take it. Always nervous headed into these kinds of series. First 2 games, we take both of them, 5-1 and 5-3. Headed out to Ottawa. And oh my gosh, so we sweep the Senators in the Eastern Conference Finals, 3-2 win and a 4-3 win. And we are headed to the Stanley Cup Finals. Edmondson there up 3-1 over the Avs. So barring a miracle from Colorado, looks like we will be facing McDavid and the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final. Matthews there popping off 18 points in 15 playoff games. And let's see what happens. All right, as predicted, here we are facing the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup final. Whoops. This is a Stanley Cup final. I'm sure people, fans of either team would absolutely love to see. We finally are getting our Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid Stanley Cup final matchup here. So very exciting here. Yeah, Draisaitl, McDavid, Konechny. And they have Tim Stützle. Wow. So they're stacked on their top six. Bottom six obviously leaves some to be desired when you have a top six like that, blowing all your cap space on three guys. Defense, though, they have Byram and Morelli. So again, their top pairings carrying them. Bottom four defense, so much to be desired. Oh my gosh, 71 overall Graves. Then goalies, wow, 79 overall Kira Schmid and a 69 nice overall Samuel Ivanov backing him up. So, McDavid and Draisaitl carried this team kicking and screaming through the season. But obviously, when you're playing a guy like McDavid, they won last year, I believe. So they're looking to go back-to-back here against us. Very nervous here. This is a great team. Great offensive core they have. So first two games, and we split 6-3 win and a 5-3 loss. So again, nice offensive show here. Games 3 and 4, and we lose both of those. All right, 4-3 loss and a 4-3 overtime loss. So we got a mountain to climb here, down 3-1. Headed into game 5. Let's take it period by period here. See what happens. Down 1-0 after 1. Richie for them. Tie it up 3-3. Wow, Matthews with a natural hattie gets all three of them. Very nice. McGillis and McLeod for them. Headed into the third period. And let's sim into the period here. See what happens. Early power play. Can't get it. But we do score later. Siegenthaler. They tie it right back up on the power play. And they get another power play. Draisaitl. 5-4 Edmonton. Chance to win the cup. They get another power play goal. Jesus, McDavid. They're just tearing us apart. Power play merchants. And looks like that's going to be all she wrote for this one. So, unfortunately, we fall in 5 games in the Stanley Cup final to the Edmonton Oilers. Certainly Draisaitl and McDavid carried them. Austin Matthews, though, did go off 26 points in 20 playoff games. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting this team to make it to the Stanley Cup finals. I always had hope, but wasn't necessarily feeling super confident. But we put up a really nice run to the Stanley Cup final, and as did Edmonton. So, two very evenly matched teams, I would say. All the games are relatively close, to be honest. I don't mind that we lost. It's frustrating, but obviously we won the Stanley Cup once with the Maple Leafs. We make it back to the Stanley Cup finals again, and we still have one more season to hope for the best and hope we can get another one. But obviously we're going to sim out to the draft here and see what we can work up in the off season. Alright guys, so here are the draft lottery results, and that Chicago trade paid off big time because we will have the 7th overall pick in this season's draft. And take a look at the retirement class for this season. Kadri, Teravainen, and Sagan leading the way there. On the defensive side, we'll have DeAngelo Jones and Severson at the top of the list. And for goalies, well, Forsberg, Campbell, and Merzlikins leading the way on the goaltending front. And before we start the draft, I do want to go over the awards there. So Edmonton back-to-back Stanley Cups after us. So still love seeing Toronto on that list there. Individual awards, Haggins with the Art Ross and the Hart. Makar there does get his 3rd straight Norris. Hughes with the Lady Byng. Bates with the Calder. Stützle gets the Conn Smythe. Adekalia with the Vezina. Gustafson there gets the William M. Jennings. Love to see it. Bradley with the Masterson. Oilers coach with the Jack Adams. Leonard with the Selke. Haggins with the Ted Lindsay. And Ranson in there with the Maurice Richard. Alright guys, so we actually traded up into the top 5 with the Calgary Flames because after that we lose out on a medium elite guy. So Winnipeg there gets an 84, then a 79 overall. LA will get 78 overall, and Nashville will get a 76 overall. So There's only one more medium, guaranteed medium elite here. After that, as you can see, kind of fall off there. We'll have Cam Owen here, who's a right shot defenseman, NHL ready, and some really nice X factors. They say PK Subban, but I'm thinking more maybe Cale Makar kind of style here. Good skater. Obviously, we're going to take him. He's a 76 overall, so very nice selection there. Elite edges as his X factor ability. Very nice puck skills, good shot. Obviously, a very good skater. So yeah, really like that we traded up, because after that, if we had kept our 7th pick, we got a 76 overall, medium top 6, and a 66. So yeah, they fell off pretty hard. So very happy we traded in there. All right, then with 31st overall, was kind of like Pierre Gagne here. Guaranteed low elite, 3 years ETA. Tons of opportunities for X factors. Projected to go in the 2nd round, but, you know, want to see what he is. 64 low elite. Absolutely love to see it. Nice amount of superstar abilities. Like that pick a lot. All right, he'll select Connor Binaural. 50-50 medium elite here in round 4. Got to take a chance on it. And he's a top 6, so not a great pick. All right, let's like Stanley Connor here. Low chance at top 6, 4 years ETA. Kind of one of the better options here. And he's a bottom 6, so not actually. That was a bad pick. All right, so the draft is over. Only had 4 picks, but obviously, you know, not going to matter much when next season is our last with the Leafs. So overall, I just really like that we got that 5th overall pick there. And now we're headed into the re-sign phase, so obviously we're going to try and re-sign Brent Clark and see what else we want to do. Alright guys, so we do have some contract extensions to announce. We extended Brent Clark for just 1 year at $13.5 million. I've been so good with managing contracts up until now, but you know, as you start getting into this point of franchise mode where all these new guys, you know, made up guys and younger guys right now, they get older and their asking prices just get astronomical for whatever reason. So we did what we had to do. I really wanted to keep him, and we still have some cap space to mess around with. We also signed defenseman Frederick Naslund to a 1-year extension worth $5.5 million. He's like an 83 overall young player, so should be able to play on like our bottom pairing or 2nd pairing, so good signing there. All right, so we have some free agent signings to announce. We've signed forward Vitaly Kravtsov to a 1-year deal worth $2.25 million, and forward Owen Tippett to a 1-year deal worth $2.55 million. So 2 pretty solid signings for us, sort of round out our bottom 6. All right, so we have 2 more free agent signings to announce here. We've signed goalies, I should say, Carson Bjarnason and Hunter Jones, both at 2 years worth $875K. One of them is going to be our NHL backup, and the other is probably going to be our AHL starter. Alrighty guys, so before we head into just going over our lines, headed into our final season with the Leafs, we do have some contract extensions to announce. We have extended Austin Matthews for a 1-year deal at $8.9 million, 35 years old, probably going to retire, maybe even after this season. We've also extended defenseman Sam Dickinson for 6 years at $6.3 million per year, and forward Danila Yurov at 4 years worth $4.7 million per year. So obviously I had to sim a little bit into the season, 1-1-1 to start the year. You know, not terrible, but we'll head into just going over our lines as we look forward to our final year with the Leafs. Team looks, you know, pretty decent still, honestly. You know, a lot of depth up and down the lineup. First line there, we actually moved Matthews down to 2nd line center, put Fedorov up there with Wright and Carlson. Should be a very good first line here. Depth up and down the lineup. 2nd line looks pretty deadly as well. 3rd line gets a +2 there with Kristanovich, Lessard, and Poirier. And then our 4th line gets a +1 with Tippett, Whitfield, and Kravtsov. As for defense, we'll have Clark and Dickinson on the first pairing getting a +2. Mankari and Naslund on the 2nd pair get a +1. And Sandin and Hines rounding it out on that 3rd pairing. For our goalies, we have Gustafsson and Bjarnason. Now, this could be our downfall this year. Bjarnason only an 83 overall. Gustafsson now down to an 82. Still has, you know, some promise in him, though. Again, we've lost to teams with much worse goaltending than this, so you just never know with this game as far as goaltending goes. But Fedorov there, 7 points in 3 games, so yeah, he's gonna be due for a huge year. But yeah, we're gonna head into our final season with the Leafs. Hopefully we can make another run at a Stanley Cup. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. The support helps me out a ton. And until next time, have a good one, y'all.